I was hoping that we would have some grants coming.
Okay, someone just liked it, the dawn walked away, I don't know if they were. Let it go, on now.
That's well.
You don't plan on talking to Dave tomorrow, do you? Who's Dave? Cass. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I'll give them, they need to power wash the front of the building. Oh, if people are coming up to planning commission meetings with council. And looking like. That looks like something out of the Halloween movie. Now with all the spider webs that bugs. Yes.
You know where you went?
Wasn't meant for, no, one less public.
Oh, he's coming, this is for, I know the Woodhull superintendent's supposed to call me tomorrow,
Oh, really?
talk about LSW stuff.
That's fine.
Who you guys are?
Party.
Welcome. Is my tardiness? Right. Let me call the meeting to order. Roll call Beavers,
Yep.
Innes. Here. Frank.
Here.
Inglitz. Here. I am here. Do we have any public comment? For,
Motion.
second. Motion carries. The approval of the June planning commission meeting minutes. All right. So, first order of business tonight is effectively opening a discussion about the Mike and Sons property. Kim did a lot of research and
Tried.
well, but I mean, you collected, if nothing else, you collected a ton of documentation. Got it to Spicer, and Faith put together, kind of a timeline of events that led to where we are at now, with the condition of that property. And I guess just to state the core problem, the piece of property is C2 zone. Per our zoning that restricts the use. Their current use lies outside of C2. It is described in our ordinance as being permittable in C2 with a special land use permit. Correct. Okay. And to clarify within that, ultimately, the discussion is surrounding the documented fact that that property is out of compliance with the originally granted special land use. Yeah, I mean, I read, it's 8:30, the code book, I went through it this afternoon and. Yeah, there's landscape provisions, there's minimum setback, it's 50 feet.
That's all,
Yeah, it's,
all of it, you know, I mean, I don't know. The reasoning were, but there's definitely back and forth, emails back and forth of what he needed to do. I mean, he came, they said, okay, we'll approve it, but you have to do this, and then that never got done, so then it went back, and it was back and forth. That's pretty much what that folder is, this back and forth, and what he had to do, reasons why he couldn't, you know, then they gave him the extension. Yeah, kind of just went on and on and on.
To play devil's advocate, it could be as simple as he abandoned the 80 by 80 structure, so he no longer thought he needed a special land use permit. Maybe it was somehow unclear to him that the actual use of it is the issue, not putting an 80 by 80 structure on it.
Yeah, I don't know, cause it's very hard to follow the emails and what, and because there's like 3 different, you know, there was Pete in there was Paula in there was some other people also that emails were coming from. There's Eagle in there. Oh yeah, it's hard to say why it got
Yeah.
dropped and why it just didn't pursue past. I think the last letter or email might have been a letter because there are some letters that were sent to him certified. So, but I don't know if it was, they were sent certified, you can't do this anymore unless you do these things, and then it's, no one ever made a move. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of just left, it's kind of like it left right in the middle, like it was being done and it just, it stopped, everything stopped. I don't know what came up that everyone stopped doing it and pursuing it and they shall last. See the 2010
That was one.
or 2011.
I don't know if they were dated November 10th, 2001.
Yeah, I think, and I think it started back 2008, 9.
So in the first paragraph from Fate that says, city's records show that between the years 2006 and 2011. So, but the first,
Basically 20 years from person to show. In this place.
yeah. So I think that then, again, on that first page, the first occurrence of, you know, an extension.
Yeah.
Within what was approved.
Yeah.
And I asked, is the goal starting a new shot clock and trying to get compliance of the goal? Shot clock seems to have expired from all of the information we have, and that it's time for enforcement.
Well, I mean, I think. And please share thoughts on this, but. I think to a certain degree. I mean, some of the onus is on the city, right?
100%.
You know, we said, please do all these things. And whether or not they get done, we didn't do anything about it.
Right.
So in my mind, the goal isn't to all of a sudden lay a size 13 right over the whole thing and, you know, well, we're gonna squash it like a bug. Like that's not the perspective that I'm looking at this within, but I think that it would be fair to look at it as, all right, well, we're reviewing all this now. We have all of this information. Can we open up a conversation about how to rectify some of this? I mean, the onus is certainly partly on on, on the owner, right? They went through all of these things, they got the letters, there were the emails, they came to the meetings, they applied for the special use. I think that figuring out a way to work together to bring it up to standard would be a fair way to look at it.
I think an opportunity to determine where it currently is, right? It could have changed materially since. When was the last time that eyes have been made on this perspective?
Sure. Sure.
In a drive-by this afternoon.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, again,
yeah,
what has happened in the last X number of years that. could-
gotten worse.
Well, it's.
It's just,
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was out of compliance and it didn't matter, but. You know, like there were certain things that were, like just how many vehicles he could have there, how high the piles could be. All fencing, everything that was supposed to be enclosed, like none of that is, the piles are. Triple the size at some points and that what was originally. Stated in the plan to begin with, so, I mean, I think. It's getting, and I feel like it's kind of done the last 6 months or so that. It's kind of gotten even more, he's got more equipment out there, he's getting more. So. I mean, I had this done, back in January, I found it and was like, okay, can you send me it over? And I figured once we all settled down after the master plan and, got things done, I would. Bring it to you guys when we were slower and could really focus on it. So, and I think it's. Either he's grown his business and that's why it's, gotten bigger and. I figured now's probably the time we should either. Start over or. Approach him or however it is. We want to handle it.
We like some dialogue and just say, they've done this before, the city dropped the ball and then keep pushing it, but now. You got new boards, you got new people, we ain't gonna drop it this time.
Yeah,
But we do wanna work, let's get things done right, let's help each other out to make sure that. The community is actually decent looking.
what are your plans? This is what our zoning ordinance says you have to do to meet compliance.
Right.
I mean, there was paving that was supposed to happen, landscaping, fencing. But there was also a lot of things that they were planning on doing that they haven't done, like building that big barn. So let's figure out what their current plan is, and then figure out what we need to do to become compliant, but we know that there's a bit of a gap there right now. So,
And we could easily tell them that part of that's on the city.
oh yeah,
Which easily is.
and I think that's probably how we go about it, is, during a review, we're going, because we probably should go through and systematically kind of. It seems like we're finding quite a few of these things and it happens, right? We're waiting on something and the file gets set over here and the next thing you know, it's buried.
Yeah.
Well, we should try to figure out how much of that we have got going on, because if we are talking about updating zoning. That's tough to do if we have a bunch of people who aren't in compliance with the current zone. You're just compounding the
Yeah.
issues if you start changing it. Sure.
So you're saying address the people that aren't complying before we change the zoning ordinance?
If you change, my fear is if you change zoning ordinances. And you had people who were out of compliance,
With the original one, yeah.
and now you become stricter, does it look like you're doing it selectively? Like, are you targeting people? Or like if we were to do something with our commercial zone. And it became more stringent, now the threshold has increased. How do we do that? I'm not sure. So. And maybe we don't have that many people who are outliers, I don't know, but this is obviously a clear one that we should probably get. At least. On paper that we're addressing, and then. I mean, we just passed the master plan and that kind of impacts zoning as far as it should be a guide for it, so if we do any changes. In this situation, we should probably go back and amend the master plan. Right. So.
When will the master plan and the zone map be active on the website?
They're working on it right now. I mean, I know they're putting all the pictures, because they're getting a bunch of new pictures and, I think that was the final. Thing was just pictures, we had to get them the resolutions and stuff like that, so. I'm guessing in the next couple of weeks, we should have the full final. I'm done. And as soon as we get that, then we can put it in the website.
Is the one in the master plan, that's future land use though, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
But then there should be another zoning. Current zones have, because they wouldn't necessarily be the same.
Right, but I don't know if we changed any zoning in the master plan, did we?
We don't
Well, over the
change it in the master plan, but you would say
Right.
like, if we were to do rezoning, this is what we see future use. I believe that's a future use map. So it may be
In the master.
in the
plan?
master plan,
Yeah,
I think it may be
Yeah.
slight, but
we still would have our original.
I guess is
zoning.
that one on the website.
I think
The
so.
current zoning map is from 2008.
Well, yeah, that's probably.
Yeah,
Do you think it's fully correct?
No.
Cause I think we've definitely had some residential developments over the years, right?
Unless they were having to be rezoned.
yeah. I don't know. If we've rezoned anything, like if we moved and made things,
Don't know what I've been already zoned with residential.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we haven't had any communities going since. Deerfield went in 2002.
that wasn't loyal the last one. On the subdivision we planted with that.
Deerfield was supposed to be.
Oh, are they careful?
Function.
Oh. Which, I think that was, well. I
Yes.
don't know what that one was Deerfield, residential?
What's Woodbury by the church?
Residential open space.
So that one didn't change. Yeah. So. I don't think we changed anything physically, but it's something to revisit. We got rezoned Tree Street now too, we sold them. I don't know what that means, so it is. Open space. Residential, because they're gonna put a house in it.
I think it was still residential.
That may be one to look in the. In the master plan, we may have addressed that.
That was like park, like, I know at one time, but I don't know what we did with it. Master, I can't remember what it was, I mean, it's gotta be zone residential.
I was looking at the wrong one by the church, it's low density residential, but.
Would not think that we would have zoned Tree Street or anything, but.
I felt like when we did that map project with the master plan, we were kind of like looking at,
Where
Where
possibilities.
could we?
Yes,
And that's, so we didn't rezone anything, we
No.
just said if we ever were to. Would this be inappropriate? Like we didn't rezone, we labeled the field in front of my house as residential,
Yeah,
even though it's
possible.
open space
Yeah.
right now.
possible.
Because we said
residential.
that could be a potential space for residential.
Yeah. Yeah,
So the way I understand it, since we've done that in the master plan, if someone came to us and said, I would like this rezoned.
Yeah.
Then we can refer to the master plan and say, yep, that's something we've all agreed upon would be a good future use for that.
right, and that sets us up to change the zoning or master plan, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of why all these grants and stuff are coming through, that's why I'm looking for a grant to do a total rezone thing, like we did the master plan, like having grant, have somebody to come in and do that. That's my fingers, which it may still happen, because the budgets and all that stuff are now working on ways out and grants and stuff, so. But I was hoping that this show would be doing something like that, just as maybe pushing to, especially the housing. Housing.
So. Circling back to the Mike and Sons, the core of this. So this is not something that I've seen before where we're taking a look at. An existing. Established business. And. Digging back and saying, okay, it's out of compliance from. The original special use, like. What is the appropriate way to? Open up a discussion with them, like. Uncharted territory, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of mentioned in there, you know, legal, you know, what. You know, what we wanna, you know, I feel like we have to be a little bit careful. I feel like that was you know, as. For saying that was like, just be careful, you can't probably go in there just blazing and. I think, you know, next steps would. To. At least hand this all over to our zoning administrator. And see just. Where he thinks we need to start to like start from the beginning, start, you know, can we lead off with where we left off as far as like, can we just say. Hey, we've approved all this, this and this, but we need this, this and this from you. Can we do that? Do we need to start over? You know, where is he at? I mean, I feel like. And I don't know, maybe we need to discuss it with legal. Just to make sure that we aren't.
I mean, is there anything that, Mike and Faith might be able to offer as, hey, yeah, we've seen something like this before?
Yeah, that was another thing, and like, to have them come in and explain all this to you guys too, like, well, the ramifications, what, what their opinion, what your next step should be. I mean, she just kind of gave you what had happened, like, this is what happened, and
Right.
not so much, this is what you should do next, so.
Well, and I guess that's what I'm getting at,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
taking it from this to what's actionable,
Right,
how do we bridge that gap?
yeah.
Where,
I thought, sending this over to our zoning administrator just to get the basics of. He's been a zoning administrator for quite a while, he may actually have run into this himself. And then, maybe talk to Mike and see what he suggests. I mean, he was pretty good about when we did the rental thing, like. This is something we don't do, you need legal, you need,
Yeah.
So maybe he knows, hey, you should do that first, or maybe we can approach it a different way. I was basically bringing it to you guys to decide what you guys want to do, and if you wanted me to reach out to anybody else, or send them a letter or start the process, or.
well, I mean, I think that, I think that Jason brings up good, right? Something like this. And we know about this, we can see it happening, I think that it sets precedent. So I mean, I don't think that it would be good to say, all right, yep, we see this and, all right, let's set it over there and we'll let another 10 years go by and that's what everybody can draw upon.
Right.
But I think that for us to continue a discussion about it, as far as what we can do about it. I would like to hear what the zoning administrator has to say, and I would also like to hear, I guess, from Mike or whoever Mike suggests. Hey, this is what another situation like this looked like in this city, this is how you
Right.
go about it. I mean, what is everybody's thoughts about?
Yeah, I think doing some independent research on your end. I don't think it has to come back to planning necessarily. I would be in favor if you get independent. Confirmation that the right thing to do is simply send them a letter and say, hey. We're going through reviewing old files. It came to my attention that we never finalized your site plan for the special use. So sorry that apparently both of us missed it, but in an effort to gain compliance, we'd like to schedule time for you to come in and sit down and we can discuss next steps. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's, you're not threatening.
Right,
You're taking ownership, saying, yeah, we missed it. They didn't turn it in, we didn't ask. We did, it was kind of left with ball in their court.
Yeah.
Or we don't have on file your finalized site.
Right.
If you do have it, we'd love to take a look at it and see if we can get it approved. I think it's clear by what we're seeing there that what is there now doesn't match the description what's in, of what is supposed to be here.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, that's where it was left off. By the minutes, planning, it was
Mhm.
nothing, so, you know, it wasn't so much that we didn't have it, it didn't get. And we didn't pursue it beyond that, like, once he didn't show up or didn't do whatever those last things were, that's where it ended. So, yeah, we didn't, but it's not in any minutes, so. We'll probably. Which we're assuming, yes, it was.
in my
yeah.
view, it seems like we have caught maybe. Or heard. That there might have been some things that were handled less formally in the past. So maybe this was handled just in a very, very informal way that
Right,
we need to just get formalized now. So.
yeah, I can definitely do that. And I think I'll, make a call to Dave and, kind of pick her brain a little bit. Before I send out the letter, like, she may have suggestions on, how to go about it, what to say, like type things, So yeah, I'll reach out to her and discuss it with her and Mike. And then,
This won't be a surprise for them.
no,
They
No,
know
right.
not, it's.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
not trying to size their team, we're just like, what are the requirements to get you guys there, we'll work with you, we're not talking about being punitive by any measure. Yeah, let's just get there.
Yeah, and make sure that our ducks are in a row. Talk to the zoning and maybe just throw it through emails to make sure. And then.
Yeah.
Send them a letter like, hey, we just, we're reviewing things like you said, we just want to get things back on the same page and. Kind of pick up where the city dropped the ball last time.
Yep.
So I mean, I think it's, to me, it's important to say the city is what, the city did not follow.
Yeah,
And realistically, we didn't, that way they would not feel that they're attacked. You just say, we're just trying to pick up where that council dropped it. And we're, as a council, as a planning commission, we're finally getting our feet solidified on the ground, so we're ready to go.
Anybody else have any? Questions, comments, or concerns about? the plans?
So in an effort to not target the individual or business, I think is a desire that. We are hopeful to get compliance, right? And we're far out of compliance, whether that be from the city's lack of follow through or property owner lack of follow. Our effort is to endeavor compliance. Pathway towards compliance, and if compliance isn't possible, then an alternate pathway, that's not against them, that's anyone that we would take an evaluation and look to see if something goes out of compliance. Within reason with limited resources, budgets and stuff, but still, our goal is to be in compliance, as what else we have as an ordinance, so we didn't depend on following the appropriate channels to try to force that or be in compliance.
it could be relatively easy in communities this size to take a look at the zoning map and say, how many CTs do we have made? Are they?
Yeah.
Do they all qualify as a straight C2? And if not, do they have a special land permit? If they don't, we get those two. Yeah. One of the strengths of being a small community, projects like this are really doable,
Yeah,
so.
we're not talking thousands of properties that, yeah, don't having sit through, no.
Yeah.
All right. So I think as far as our purposes are concerned. I guess. Whatever letter gets sent, and then if we need to re-involve ourselves.
I guess if a letter gets sent, I would just ask that maybe,
I'll send it, if I.
yeah,
After I talk to Faith and Mike and, maybe the zoning, I'll get their opinion. That's what they suggest, is just send me a letter, then I'll put it together, and then I'll send it to all of you, so you know what it's
awesome.
entails and.
We can move on to the zoning ordinance review, So. This is something that we had talked about in June's meeting. Which was. If we, as the planning commission, ultimately don't have much on the docket. Or anything, maybe take the opportunity. For those meetings to see what we can do to help. With reviewing some of the zoning ordinances, keeping in mind, we just completely redid and submitted our master plan. I think that was the goal that we talked about, right? Reviewing some of the zoning stuff to make sure that it matches up with the master.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything on here does.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I, I talked to Anthony about, the zoning, and I figured. Main thing that our master plan talks about, which is huge, is the housing. And, thinking anything that you have in your zoning that may be easier for people to build houses here. Without having to come in and, do, variances and, there. Just have to do the basics of, I think, one things that I noticed was that, the sizing of houses. Which is a big push, to, make affordable housing, which is smaller housing. So that was one thing that we're a little bit bigger than what it's not recommends, they stay away from trying to tell you what to do, but at the same time, they're giving you guidelines to, all of this is from Michelle, and like their.
what is our minimum square foot requirement? I thought it was like mid-700s.
It's.
I think it's bigger than that.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that 9 something?
yeah. I thought, yeah, I'm thinking of 9. Things too, as far as like easements and that kind of stuff too. I kind of feel like, and this is only from remembering someone, there's a piece of property that is for sale here. We've had numerous people call about it, and it's kind of, the easement part is the problem. Everyone that calls, you know, it's, our easement, what our easement is. So that might be something to look at. It's a small piece of property, but I think with the easement, it makes it almost really difficult to get anything in there. And we do, you know, have a very strict, mobile home, rules. I mean, you basically, it's so strict that it'd be cheaper for you just to build a house than it would to bring in. I mean, it's pretty strict, like you have to have a foundation, you have to have, it has to be so many square foot, it has to, which I'm assuming was to discourage, homes like that popping up everywhere. Whether that's, you know, something to relook at because of the housing issues and the size, which there's a whole thing in our zoning about that. I don't know what word for it, but I've read it before because we've had people call. You know about it. We have to read to the zoning because we're like, before you even think about it, read what you have to do in order to, you know, do that. And I think that property, there's a numerous people that have called and wanted to put a double wide or something on there, and I think it's just too affordable to do. And getting it down that road, so, you know, it's
Great.
Great.
One thing when I was looking through some of these, when you start to look at lot size and reducing lot size, which I think is definitely something we should consider. I think we need to consider whether those houses have sewer hookup. Because it's one thing to have a small lot size, but if you also have to have a septic and a well on that lot, that may have been part of the reason we had such a large lot size requirement, because well and septic, there's a.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's a
don't
pretty,
think that, at least that's what I heard. That you can actually you have to connect to our sewer now.
well,
You
no,
can't.
but there's some properties in town that have no sewer.
Right. I mean, I'm saying like, if
Yeah.
you come into town now and build a house, you have to somehow hook up to our sewer.
Well, because I was looking at these,
And I think that's a county thing.
no, 100%,
Yeah.
these, accessory dwelling units too, I think that's a great idea. If that property
Right.
has sewer hookup.
Right.
If not, if you were trying to put an apartment over your garage.
Yeah.
For instance, well, that property now needs its own septic.
Yes.
Well with.
And I did do a little research into that too, and that is, you know, totally something that we have to have the county get involved in and, you know, really do a good study on that and whether some of like say my house, you know, I have a lot of property in the back of my house. If I wanted to put a mother-in-law suite back there, would I be able to use our sewer and our well? You know, would I be able to do that? In some places you cannot do that. You have to have another well.
It's separate.
Yes, so it sounds great, but yeah, it's all county decides whether it hurts, whether, you know, does you have enough room to do that? If you can use the same, like you're saying, like the apartment above, you know, more than likely you'd be able to use the same well. But it has to be approved and all that stuff, right? I mean, it's not as easy as.
Backflow prevention, I know those
Yeah.
are all things that if you're trying to run multiple residents off a single well, they have to have those.
Yeah.
Well, who, if that's a county health department thing, great.
Yeah.
But I think if we're gonna look at putting that in zoning, there should maybe be some.
Yeah,
How do we
like,
do that, and then how do we affect sewer rate?
right.
Because now if you've got,
Well, I mean, the way we do
Or
it
you-
now, you know, like you get charged, I mean, the ones that we do have that are like duplexes or above apartments above, they get charged for two.
okay,
And that's what we do now, it's by a hour or something. Tells us, how many people, it's kind of like the businesses too. You have so many people in there, you get charged one. You have more people, you may get charged more. Busier, like the bars get charged more than, a coffee shop.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's, I think with the businesses, it's about people, they can have it over. Apartments and stuff, if you have 2 apartments, you get charged 2.
two, okay.
So it really would be a matter of special permitting. Is there? It almost seems like the complexity might be then if you're gonna allow accessory dwellings. Maybe do we allow 2 different lot sizes? If we allow a
Yeah.
smaller lot size, no accessory dwelling. We keep
Right.
the standard lot size, you allow accessory dwellings. Does that mean rezoning parts of town?
Right.
Or do we have people come in and ask for I'm not sure how to do that, because a
Yeah, 'cause
lot.
that's is to not make it
Yeah,
harder for
harder,
people
but yeah,
to,
no.
yeah.
Do
Yeah,
we have a lot of area in town that isn't already developed? So is the lot size kind of a moot point because all the lots have already been divided? How many are big enough to subdivide?
and they're not all the same, so at one time, our lot size was probably a lot smaller, and then it got bigger, because that's kind of what everyone did. We had smaller houses, smaller lots in cities. And then they just gradually got bigger housing and bigger lots, and people didn't wanna have neighbors, and so things just got wider and bigger. So, yeah, I mean, sounds like a very complex, like whether we have areas that we do contact the county and say, hey, if this area, possibly an area where we could split, properties, or build another home on that property. Are those, things that we can do in this area and not in this area, where we would rezone certain areas? That, I don't know, I'm gonna have to dig deeper into, what Mishta. I was hoping there would be a grant. Because there's a lot of it happening, but I don't know if it's all being done and just then thought about later. Like, okay, we zoned it, we changed our zoning, but now now you gotta put in a well, now you gotta put in septic, you've gotta. And they just deal with it later, but to me, that's irresponsible too, because then you're going back through, you're jumping through hoops to build a house. And that's what they're trying to not afford of. Not have to have somebody come in and go through variance and variance and variance to build what our zoning doesn't.
Well, that's what I'd say with should we allow the conversion of a single family home into a duplex and triplex? I think as long as we can address some way to monitor and make sure it's permitted, figure out how we want to handle water to each one of those units. And maybe that's gonna be more at county level. But as long as there is something that we can, because we have a rental code in place. So those would obviously become rentals.
Yeah.
Do we want to address, or does the master plan address? I don't remember what percentage of our buildings we want to be rental. Maybe when we hit that threshold, then is there a way to break it? Because what you don't want is for 50% of Laingsburg to become rental property.
Right.
That's.
But we
like
also,
values.
like Misha talks about addressing the elderly people. And being able to live on their own, but not, selling their houses, which will become available for
Mhm.
young families, and then them moving into, like, say, I put,
Yeah.
a mother-in-law seat in my yard. So that's an opportunity for them to move there, free up their house, and kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That's the stuff that I've gone to, that's the kind of stuff they talk about is, letting people split their properties. Letting, people that have bigger lots, maybe split their property with family, or somebody else wants to buy part of their lot because you made your lot smaller. And made them so that, you know, you could sell a part of your, I mean, I don't think there's too many people here that had huge lots that they're gonna build 3 houses on or anything, because they can, maybe your parents. Couple of those. I don't know how much land they have, but there's not very many of those houses, but there are houses, you know, like mine that have big backyards, or long backyards per se.
Which that's great, because that increases the taxable value of your property.
Right.
The other house gets sold.
Yep.
So that's what the town, and it's another resident.
Yeah.
So we're growing the population, which is exactly. what-
And it's affordable housing, so you're
Yeah.
getting rid of the house that's probably old from an elderly person that's selling it to, you know, that's how it's been
Yeah.
explained, how to, especially for a town like ours where there's not land everywhere, where you just build subdivisions and do it that way.
Well, that makes me wonder how many properties would actually be. How many properties would actually be affected by something like this? If it's 14 properties. That, you know, something could be split off of or whatever the case may be, I mean.
Right.
To me, then it may as well just leave it as a special use thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'd have to really, I mean, there's also incentives for people that own property. Like we do more than I even realized after doing the master plan of people who own property here that could be developed. And, you know, whether they're sitting on it because no one's offered them any.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
How much property is there actually available?
Well, I just talked to somebody and I have no idea because I've not looked into this, but she owns property in the city of Laingsburg. And right now it is not zoned residential. And it, I don't know, I have to look this all up because you know, you always know what, if they know everything that was done. So it was farmland. And, but now it's not farmland because we don't allow agriculture in the city limits unless you were to have other like chickens. But this farmland is about as old as theirs, so I don't know how it didn't get, whether it wasn't being farmed at the time or what was going on, but it's also not zoned residential. So to me, that hinders this person from selling up the property in parcels to be able to be residential. But like I said, we don't know all the, looked into it, I just found out what it's.
We could take a look at the future land use map, because I think like we identified the property just south of the golf course that's for sale. Yeah. Didn't I see a for sale sign out there?
The one on Shawasi, not on Woodbury.
Oh, really?
Further,
I watched, she just sold those 3 lots. It was Hendrickson's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just, somebody bought all 3 of those lots.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
One person?
and I believe he's gonna put 3 houses on
Oh, good.
it. Well, and that is the property I'm talking about, is right behind it. Oh,
Oh, yeah, that would be ideal.
yeah,
If they wanted to do smaller lots to allow that.
right, and from what she was telling me was that it's not listed as residential, so she can't parcel it off. And, but yet she can't supposedly farm it either. So it's kind of like, well, why? Well, that makes no sense to me, so that's why I'm gonna dig into it, find out exactly what it's.
That'd be a development, 'cause there's no road back there. Is
good
it?
golf course.
Well, I do believe the talk was that those houses on Doyle was going to have a road go in there,
Yes.
because she lives behind those houses on Doyle.
Yeah, there was a road on Doyle that was supposed to go in as a cul-de-sac. Because they actually plumbed it and everything for storm drains and sewers, but then man on the road bought the property because they didn't want houses behind them.
Well, and yeah, it either is in limbo between farm and residential, and it's, so. I mean, that's a perfect example of, you know, rezoning that. If it's just. I don't even know what it, seemed like it was open space. I don't know, when we looked at the master.
It was something that I thought they had reclassified as some nature.
Yeah, so. One of those deep dive things that we look into and.
And so our ways are playing this. Is it just informational or?
I mean, that's. Bringing it up from what we had talked about in June, right? Seeing
There's
I don't know
areas
if
we need to.
if there's anything that, yeah.
But if, you know, we do anything. We have to do. Everything. I mean, not that way, but if we're gonna change one thing, then we should look at
Yes.
everything. If we're gonna change anything,
Do it
'cause
one time.
you don't wanna do it once and then you have to go back and do all of, you know, do it on something else. It's easier to. Have one public, you know, for all of the changes at once.
Well, we could start like you were talking last meeting, just like workshopping and saying, okay, so if we were to take 1 through 3 on here and, you know, start to say, we think that. Number one, for instance, allow single family homes, we can put it to do like. Triplexes. What do we think about that? We get our kind of our thoughts on paper, so if we do get a grant. Or we're already a step ahead, we can give it to them and say, here's some thoughts we've already
Yeah.
had about what we should do.
Yeah.
And just start going through our zoning ordinance, you know, if we were to carve out 15 minutes, a meeting to say, hey, let's look at. R1,
Right.
let's look
Yeah,
at
like-
R2.
Yeah, I pulled this because that's
Mhm.
what's talked about the most, and then, you know, you go kind of slowly through the whole zoning.
Yeah.
And make your notes on what it is, and then, you know, if you decide that you wanna do it, then you do it all at once. Wait, if you wanna do change, all the changes you wanna do, you do it. All at once.
So I mean, is that
Instead of
how
one thing at a
to
time.
go about this? I mean, go point by point through them for. 15 minutes a meeting, and then once we get through it, say.
These are the
Like,
changes we
say,
want,
like-
we don't want, or.
Do we dive into this deeper now, or?
I would suggest we consider a systematic way to do it where we have somewhat of a rubric, because I think as we go through and get to the end, we're almost gonna have to start back and take another look at everything that we learned, because we're like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh boy, that I didn't think about that. That's and where I would start, instead of thinking about new tools, what areas of our current zoning are contradictory or conflicting or impeding already permitted use? What are those cases where it's just like, well, the way that this is already stated does not allow anybody to do anything here? And so just kind of looking at it, but creating a rubric so we know what we're looking for to tie, because the whole goal is that we want to tie the master plan, right?
Yeah.
In the spirit of the master plan. Is this getting us closer? Is it getting us further? Is it neutral? You know, and then kind of trying to think through top to bottom. And again, it's painful as it sounds, starting back at the top and then making sure that we're.
I also have, which I thought about it today, because we did have that, one lady had called and she went through our whole zone. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I gotta find her letter. Of what she kind of went through the whole thing and said, you're good here, this could work, you know, she kind of broke it down. So, I could find that and kind of go from there, what her suggestions, what, you know, the. Initials looking at what they want you to change, what I want, suggest for, you know, smaller communities to. So I can pull that, study up too, because that would be a good start to hit those, because she did a whole overhaul of their zoning. Which I don't think it was too bad, you know. I don't think that's why we didn't really push to do much to it yet, because it wasn't. They weren't horrible, like, there are places that are doing complete overhauls, but they're so strict. So. I can do that, and I mean, I think too. Like if we're gonna do it like in sections, like, you know. Sending you guys that section to look at. And go over before we get to the meeting, so that you can be like, oh, you know, what about all these, and we've already got it in brain. You know, we get it, you know, whenever I get it, I'll give it to you guys, so you have it for a couple weeks.
Mhm.
too. Helps, you know, just so you're thinking about it, like, oh, and then, you know, it always helps when you can go actually look at something and go, oh, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It's an overwhelming document when you start looking at it. It's just,
Yeah,
where do you attack it from?
right,
So-
I mean, I've read it a million times, you know, just looking up stuff, and I still am like, what is it that we do? You know, like, wow, you know, like trying to remember all of the rules. You know, when somebody comes in and they're asking, you get asked the same questions, and you're like, oh. I knew this, so it's a lot of information too.
I was surprised how restrictive C2 is.
Yeah,
Commercial too,
yeah, to have a, every single, yeah,
the gas
which
station,
hasn't always happened, I know that.
I think the gas stations supposed to have a special. Permit. I especially use, I would think the garage on the corner, we thought service
Yes.
shops were supposed to have.
Yeah, everything. There's not anything that doesn't almost.
Barber shops, coffee shops, basically small shops are
Yep.
C2. I mean, I want to go reread it. It's just this afternoon.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, that is a very small list of ones that just fit in.
Yeah.
Golf.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and it, when you read the list, you're like, okay.
what
yes,
doesn't,
makes sense.
well,
It
yeah,
doesn't, it doesn't,
yeah,
you know, because I mean, anyone could do the same thing in any of the businesses, but, you know, certain ones you have to have a, you know, you have to have the.
well, and then with that, the proposed indoor mini storage, is that C2? Is that zone C2?
Yeah, they had to have a. Yep, they did the whole 9 yards, and I don't know what they're doing, but
Yeah,
there was such a rush to get it, we did it, and now it's sitting there not doing nothing, so I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. We kind of. Spend a lot of money to not do anything.
yeah, well, at least they attempted to mow the other day, which that was.
Hmm. They missed the border review.
So I think that, to me, what I would like to see happen with this zoning ordinance review thing. Let's look at that report that you mentioned. And then let's take a small section next meeting and do a test run. See how it goes, right? 'Cause I mean, if it's gonna be something where we're spending 3 hours discussing
Right.
4 points, I mean, it'll take us, we would have to figure out
Mhm.
a different way of going about it, right?
Yeah,
So let's take a look at that at the next meeting. Let's kind of feel out how it goes and see if it's something that we're even gonna be able to legitimately
We could take a look at
accomplish.
the major changes in the master. Like what were the fundamental changes we made?
yeah, there's a lot of suggestions in the master plan that, you know,
We focused there,
you're hoping to get to there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole reason to have the master plan is to eventually get there. So focusing on those first might be where you start.
We
Kind of the first step.
considered trying to harness AI as far as not having to be fluent from top to bottom, but being able to identify the delta between old master plan, new master plan.
yes,
Here, yeah. I used Mish's AI to get all that information, so yeah. Yeah. Definitely. We'll be doing that.
And who was the letter from?
It was, I think it was from what's the acronym for the Michigan Planning
When was that?
Something.
I have a
A
certificate
year ago?
class, but.
Yeah, maybe a year ago? Maybe a little over a year ago.
I don't.
It was free.
It is, yeah.
She like called me and
Wow.
like, you know, we're doing this thing and I was like, okay. And I gave her the zoning and
It was in one of our packets.
yeah,
It was either in planning or a council pack. I remember reading.
yeah, it was probably both, cause, it took a long time for her to get back, so it could have been like 2 weeks ago, but it almost took her 9 months to get me the report, something was going on and she got bombarded with them all and, but we did eventually get it, so. Well, I can find that, send that to you guys. Um. I can go in and look through those trainings, they have all that training and stuff. like that. I know zoning is a big thing. to be pushed by them. So. Not hard to find. Stuff to. What to do, how to do it, those adjustments. So I can do some research on that and. You may even have suggestions on where to start.
I think looking down the line, just to circle back, I think once we get our new zoning ordinance in, we should look over our map for our current zoning map, because some of these, like, there's the street up in that subdivision over there that's missing. I think there's some parcels that aren't on here, and I think, yes, like, people can go to GIS and look for their properties, but I think this should be easily available to residents or anyone else trying to build or anything. But I don't think it's a necessary thing right now. I don't think a lot would change.
Yeah, we probably should have like all the subdivisions in there and all those.
Yeah.
Stuff that's already been developed.
Do we have a plan, right?
Seems like the letter is step one, kind of reviewing what the analysis is and recommendations, and then figuring out how we lay that over.
Yep.
Be a good opportunity. Force. Not fluency, but at least familiarity with various aspects of it. Might not sound like with my voice, but that's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense to be the next step forward, right? Review the letter.
Take a look at the two master plans and see if those changes align with their recommendations, and that give you. Pretty high level of confidence and we know what we should be looking at.
I agree. Any other comments on that?
Is there a North Star? Do we have a North Star as far as a city, village, something that's semi-similar to us, that's a little further down the road, that has comparables as far as size and infrastructure, given the water, so that it's like, who could we look at to see where they're at and see what be like?
I just did see, I think, Peter Elsie was doing master plan, so I think everybody can. I know. I know Perry did a master plan the year prior to us, or maybe 2 years prior to us. As far as zoning, I don't know, if they've done an overhaul that's around our size for zoning. But, you know, really. Oh. interested in this one too, it's a little bit bigger. So I was like, oh,
We can, here's one.
probably,
And there's so much sun. I mean,
yeah,
there was another one up by Nora. Grand Traverse or small food.
yeah.
There's a couple out there that we could probably find and see what they're doing. Variations. And
I know in that's what I think you want me to pay the grant. Those are- But I can. Find somebody done, they've done overall in their zoning. And open the bigger city cap.
Sure. As much of what they did or what they learned from it, what they wouldn't do it, they had to do it again. but
Right,
helpful.
yeah.
False.
Anybody else have any other items? We'll adjourn the meeting.
Have you guys done any of the trainings that you would suggest to me? And if so, do you know the name?